Dr. Saumi Datta is working as Associate Professor at Institute of Engineering and Management, Calcutta, India. She has completed her PhD CST IIEST Shivpur. She received her BTech IT and MTech CSE, securing first position gold medalist from Macau. She is certified as Publons Academy Peer Reviewer 2020 and certified Microsoft Innovative Educator 2020. Her research interests are data mining, information retrieval, online social media analysis, and image processing. She has published 30 conference and journal papers in Springer, IEEE, IGI Global, Tyler, and Francis, etc. She has 5 book chapters in Tyler and Francis Group and IGI Global. She is peer reviewer and TPC member in different international journals. She was the editor in CIPR 2020, CIPR 2019, IEMIS 2020, CIR 2021, IEMIS 2018 special issues in IJW LTT. She is the member of several technical functional bodies such as ACM, IEEE, IFERP, MACUL, STIWC, Internet Society, ICSCS, etc. She has published 3 patents. Dr. Saumi Datta has delivered 15 keynote talks in different international conferences. She has been awarded with Rashtriya Shiksha Ratna Award, INSC Research Education Excellent Award, International Teacher Award 2021 by Ministry of MSME Government of India. We are very glad to have you as a resource person in this FDP, ma'am. Now I request you, ma'am, to share knowledge on how to do fake news detection in social networking using machine learning approaches.
Thank you. So first I would like to share my screen. Thank you all of you. Thank you the organizers to giving me such opportunities that I can share few of the knowledge regarding this, what I have gone through through my research journey. Definitely I want to have an interactive session that also you guys have any such experiences we can share, and also we are looking forward this thing that if we can do some of collaborative work, then it will be very fine for all of us. So let's start with my topic, that is data mining based fake news detection in social networking sites. So already my brief introduction has been given, so I'm just skipping some of the slides. So directly I'm just going to the introductory slide. So let's discuss about this topic, that what is social media and what is fake news detection and how we can collaborate all this thing in this current situation. So first of all, fake news detection is one of the quite older topic. This is nothing exclusively new, but why it has come up in a very focused way, highlighted way nowadays, because we are quite too much addicted. We can say we are quite addicted. We are too much addicted nowadays, when we are engaging ourselves in this pandemic, or not before the pandemic also, especially in this pandemic, this exchange of information via some social networking platform, it has increased. So what has happened, whenever we are trying to find out a different sort of interactive information, also see some of the news comes in front of us, some of the videos comes, some of the images comes, and different sort of things many times we go through. If we feel like, we try to share. If we feel that it should get some more responses, it should be known by everyone, so we try to itself, not only the spammers, we are trying to just give the like and share to all the posts. So in this way, what happened, there are few persons, those who want to share some of the fake newses or gain some of the information via some link or something. So they want to grab different sort of information from this. So that's why, as well as this social networking platforms is one of the great media, that how we can share our experiences, how we can make connection between different persons. And especially in this pandemic, we have seen the statistics of all different types of social networks has immensely increased. This is quite a large number of users has increased in last few years, basically, especially post pandemic. So we have seen in case of India, even if we have seen so many new profiles has been created, and the hop count has become less, and so many interaction has become trending nowadays. So that's why media's information used to come to us, which are not exactly the informative one, where the fake news are also contained. Not only the original legitimate informations are coming, at the same time fake information, spam information are also coming. And unfortunately, unknowingly, we have become the media that who are actually propagating all the news. Many times we don't really try to examine that whether a particular news is true or false. If I find interesting, I'm sharing this one. So in this way, we can see various posts are getting too much share. So many times in case of Twitter, we try to retweet. So this is sort of some sort of thing which has come into our mind. Many times the news are sold to us in such an attractive way. Then we are trying to click on the link, and some of our information, our personal information, we are trying to give it to the spammers. What they are also selling all these news in the dark web. So these are the few cases nowadays it has come. So I will tell you a few of the cases which is not directly related to the fake or news, but which is one of the part of the cyber crime, which actually comes through this Facebook nowadays. And huge lakhs, huge crore rupees in each and every city they are taking, which is one type of cyber extortion. They are taking the spammers, the hackers, they are trying to take it from the different sort of users. So let's come for this challenge. First of all, we know the challenge is how to find out these informations, which are spam or not, which are legitimate or not. So as the with the growing popularity of the microblogging, also it is giving us the opportunities for communication. It is giving us the opportunity to researchers that you can research a lot of things on this particular topics. There are huge scope on this. At least I can remember this social networking and this data mining, combining these two. This has become trending topic. It was started actually, all these papers what you can see from 2006, 9, they have just started from 2009, 12, and when it was 2012, 2013, it was really very hot topic, very not become trending, but upcoming trends, because people in the researchers, the scientists, they have already identified at that time only that it's going to be too much trending, because in future we are going to rely on this sort of media too much. So that's why also this is targeted by different sort of spammers as well as the news channels also. So many times we see that nowadays if we don't have a hard copy newspaper, so then also we can spend our days. Already we have done this sort of things in the pandemic even. So but why we are doing this? First of all, we are having some media like TV, we can watch this, and second of all, we are having our phone, which is having too much power actually. So it can take all of your time, and it can also motivate you to do something good. So every time, whenever if I'm getting 2 minutes of time, so it is hardly I just try to talk with my families, and I try to do some of the meditation sort of things. So it's better if I'm having 2 minutes, 5 minutes, let's check out the WhatsApp, let's check out the FB, what somebody has posted. This is the general thing I have seen. So, and this is the general trends, and now it is the trends not only for the youngsters, this is the trend for each and everyone. So the middle-aged person like us, they are also doing this. Aged person, those who are quite confined, they are not meeting with their relatives, and they got a smartphone, they are also trying to look into all these things, that what has happened. So that's why it has become so trending even. So those who are selling all these newses, and among this, believe me, there are so many person, I know there are so many person, they are not actually computer background, but they are quite educated and everything. So they are also not believing everything. They are going through all the newses, and they can't even identify that whether it is spam or not, and simply they are trying to share. They are believing, having their faith on that particular news. So sometimes we can see, this is a very funny picture I find in the internet actually, that some of the news channel, they try to sell a news, they try to create a plot actually, and they are trying to show that there is a plane crash sort of things. Sometimes we know that the all this person, they don't really try to collect the news, and they don't try to report us. Many times it happens they try to sell their newses. So that's why we have to, without any particular convenient source, if we don't follow, the news can be definitely fake also. Okay, so just a minute. Yeah. So this is the topic what I'm going to highlight today, that is fake news detection. So you can see that how to identify the fake news is, and how we can definitely try to find it out, figure it out, that based on which features we will identify that which are fake news is. So many times we can see it's a newspaper or news content I'm showing you. You can see a news content can have multiple parts where the news breaking headlines are given, where you can give the photo of mention the name of the journalist, where you can mention the exactly photos what you are having, where you can mention the content in a various with some relevant facts. That's all we can give. Now, in case of images, let me say you one thing. There was once upon a time, there was a such type of things that if you are giving me a text, I will not believe. Give me some evidence. So somebody as evidence giving some photographs, then it was a time, then people used to believe that yes, I understood. Even if in some sort of legal adjustment also, if you see that if some photograph are placed, then people used to consider no, this is the original one. Nowadays it has become so untrusted source, that if you're giving a photo, that also people can identify that you can do something else with this photo. Say I'm trying to give you some an evidence, I'm giving you a conversation of some chat. So it can be also definitely manipulated. You can make a Photoshop and you can change all the contents. So that's why these are not very much trustworthy until unless that photo is properly tagged, that it is coming from which resources of which media. So then only we can really trust on this. So next, see that how the rumors are getting spread, and how we can make we unknowingly we make some content as unreliable. So if I'm looking into a particular event, so if somebody will tell me what happened there, so definitely we will try to share that these and that I have seen, I have felt that this is the explanation of this particular things. Many times when we try to explain, we try to put our sentiment there, we try to put our perception there. So that's why some of the different outcomes it has come, and we can see that how we try to explain this particular event. Based on this, somebody will interpret to another one. So how the image I am creating and somebody is creating to another one. So in this way, some of the contents are getting modified and distorted, and the reality are basically hidden many times. Maybe the information what you are giving, this is not the full truth, this is the half truth what we are explaining. So there can be two different types of this fake news detection. One, this sort of news you can easily detect for which content you are having some resources from where you can verify this one. Okay, so there are some of the, say for example, that there are many dashboards, many sort of software, many websites has come that which is giving you about the count and everything about this COVID situation. But really, believe me, without verifying that event, if I'm considering, yeah, today still if the condition is too bad or the condition is too much reluctant, I will not have that much measure that how to save myself. So if I am going to do this, then it will be a blunder, right? So what we should go, we should definitely consider the website of who, where the state wise, country wise, each and every details are giving. You can easily go through that, depending on the regression, what is the exact fall and exact increment is going on in the figure, that how the COVID is still spreading. Then you can take the prevention measure according to yourself. So these are the way how you can authenticate an information. And many times you can see this sort of informations are there which you don't have any source to identify that from which source you are going to verify this one. So some of the news, whatever you are looking into the websites, different websites, so that is the only content. So there is no option to check the authenticity of this sort of event. So that's why we have to rely many times, or if we don't rely, even being an individual entity, we should really just keep pass on. I have read it, so it's fine. I will not make any comment. I will not spread this one. Simply, I will try to pass on. That can be one of the way. Next, you see that this is one of the evidence what I was talking to you, that how the images can be reliable and how one image can be unreliable. This is one space, one area it has shown. Maybe it is from North California. I cannot remember exactly. So one, or it is maybe from African any site maybe. Okay, so what happened? This is showing actually the effect of deforestation. So they has given the photo. The first photo has taken at 2009. The second photo has taken at 2019, and you see this is the original one. What the picture is coming above, and here you can see some of the person is trying to club this two picture and trying to show you another one. So this is completely a picture which will mislead you. Now, why I have given this picture? So here you can see here the dates are, years are mentioned many times. The exact timestamp can be mentioned, and along with this, the logo is also mentioned. The logo actually tells you basically that from which sources you are looking into the picture. Now, regarding any space, if you are looking into picture, just looking a picture from NASA, definitely you can actually trust that particular source, right? You can trust, have a trust that definitely that NASA is not giving you some wrong pictures. They are giving you some good pictures. If you are looking at a picture from ISRO, definitely they have done some research and they are giving you some of the relevant images that you can expect really, right? So you can see that from the image it's given here, you cannot identify any sort of timestamp or the source of the picture. So and how these are actually tampered and it has been given to you. So there are different sort of way how we can exactly identify the features, that we, based on which features one particular content can be the fake one. Because if we have to identify, if we have to apply different sort of machine learning techniques, if we want to do the deep learning, different sort of learning methodology, we need to identify that from the historic data what are the features are exactly coming. So the source, the headline, body text, images, many times you can get the video, small image clip, different sort of things you can get. So based on this, you can have some come to some conclusion. Many times your data, whenever you are trying to do the research, you can see the data is exactly, it will not be coming in the image format, it will come completely in the video formats. So definitely you have to choose your features accordingly, and then you can do the rest of the machine learning. If you are coming to the social features interfaces, definitely some of the different approaches are there. It is once we can see there can be stance-based approach, that is use the implicit and explicit representation. So explicit representation can be positive, negative votes you can consider, and implicit representation can be extracted from different sort of posts. We can identify different sort of features. So how based on a particular feature, just consider, let me give you one of the example. This sort of work me and my team has done before, that we are trying to identify that from a Twitter data set, that which are the tweets which are spam or legitimate. So we have to examine the implicit representation, the content and everything. So these are the few things what comes, and few of the features which are also related, that which is propagation bit approaches. So if a content, how to identify the spammers, you can see that if a particular content is retweeted again and again, and some of the short URL is there, some of the unusual informations are there, and if it is getting propagated more and more, then also these are some propagation based approaches also it is having. So few features are there which need to be examined. Basically, I will show you this sort of features that where me and my team has contributed, and we have come out with some good results. So these are the overall some of the summarized feature. You can use this sort of feature. You can extract this sort of feature. Not only this one, definitely some other information also you can extract based on the data set what we are trying to use, and definitely we can come out with some machine learning sort of outcomes. You can definitely find it out. So let's come there. These are the different approaches what generally we try to think, that some are data oriented, some are feature oriented, some are model oriented, application oriented. So different sort of detections can be there. Few detections are really trying to detect the legitimate information, spam information, which are a few are there which are completely relying on the images and some of the text contents. So I was talking you about the images in the last slide. So you can see this is one of the examples. You can see the first image clip which is coming. This is the original one. And here you can see in the second clip that some of the images coming, which is actually the duplicate version of the previous one. But here, synthesis of human images are done based on the deepfake technologies. So this is one concept which has come basically from deep learning, and this deepfake technologies they are trying to use nowadays. So many softwares also has come into the market which will help you to make this sort of videos of deepfaking images also. So some video, some images, these can be created, and definitely it can help you out to find out this sort of outcomes. Next, you see that this deep learning, which basically underpins these deep learning methods, they are trying to come out with some modern applications as well. So next you come, this is one of the in India, definitely this news all of you have seen previously, that how to identify, how to come with this sort of events, where we can see that one of the image of Raj Kundra is coming to you. So this this particular 1 month ago also, this news one of the quite a trending news for all of us. We have seen that police is arresting Raj Kundra, and they are getting arrested. Few of the memes has become popular. So these are the few things we have seen, and how the photo of Raj Kundra, they have tried to use the deep fake, and they are changing some with some Joker photos, some Ranveer Kapoor photos, and we have seen in Ranveer Singh's photo, we can see in this diagram. One of the very important image. These are the images which are available in case of research if you go for this deep faking. So here you can see the images from these two images. Definitely at a glance you cannot identify that what are the things are the difference between these two images. But if you try to analyze these two images using multi-fractal dimension, if you try to consider, if you try to use different sort of methods like neural network and CNN model, using different sort of model, they can easily identify this one. So I just want to show you one video. Yeah, I think you can see the screen, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, somehow the videos. I'm showing you the video from my folder itself. Is it audible to you all?
No, we are not able to get audio. No, we are not getting audio, ma'am.
So this is one of the video basically. So here you can see the company Deface Lab, what they are having. They are actually trying to find out, come up with this technology first, how they have identified, how the using of this neural network, they try to frame the person's face and they try to identify that how they actually have the intention to do the reverse engineering. But before that, when something they can build up, then they can do the reverse engineering, and they have come out with different sort of outcomes, so which is quite interesting one. So next, let's come for some work, what different sort of work we can directly do hands-on. So this is one of the work where we can apply classification as well as the supervised learning in terms to identify the fake news. So here definitely it's one of my suggestion to all of you. You can find various data set in the Kaggle. So too many data sets you will be finding here which will help you out to do any sort of experimental work using this particular topic. But one thing, if you're trying to consider any of the text documents, so these are basically, if it is, or if you find your own data sets, so definitely these are, if these are based on some of the social networking platforms, this data will be too much unstructured. In that case, definitely you have to go through the process of this data pre-processing, and you have to tokenize your data, doing the stemming, stop words removal, lemmatization, different sort of things you can do. And you can see that it is a computing the term frequency, how we are trying to identify the creating different sort of document or matrix you can prepare, and then from these you can go for any sort of AI based model or deep learning based model, anything you can find it out. So definitely we are having few of the description of the data set I have mentioned. Definitely you can work with this. We have tried to use three of the popular data sets which are mostly downloaded from Kaggle, and these are quite good outcome we have get using experimenting with this data set. So we are trying to find out the database collections, and then after the pre-processing method, we have tried to find few of the extract linguistic features also, because different sort of feature selection you can apply on this, and definitely after that you can create a machine learning model with the help of test data and training data. So this will definitely give you some good outcomes. So for the basic experiments, we have tried to come out with some of the few classifiers which are state of the art classifier we have taken. So next you will see that the feature selection based on some new detection techniques, definitely we have tried to use. Another time we have taken some different data sets. So as so many data sets are available, definitely it will help you out to find out your outcomes with some new outcomes. And not only this, for few of the cases you will be getting this sort of model, you can apply the regression. Say for cases of the COVID, we can see so many numeric features are there. Not only the classification one, you can go for some of the regression models as well. So mostly this experimental data set, what you will find, you can see some of the news articles are from Republic One, or the news articles from Democratic, the voting election and voting of Donald, how the what is the probability of having winning of Donald Trump. This sort of so many political news is there. Next, you come for this attribute selection. If you are quite interested in sort of machine learning, many times don't give this work to the machine itself, that you will identify my features and I will be executing all the experiments. So why don't you come out with your own feature selection algorithm, which will help you out to find out the effective features which will give you significantly better classification outcome. What we felt, these are the few features what are identified. These features you can use definitely whenever you are trying to work with some different work. This is one of the attribute. In case of attribute selection, every time I used to find this one, that if you're considering all the attribute instead of this, if you're trying to apply attribute selection, then you apply this classification, it will give you good outcome. Now Also, one thing for attribute selection, so many methods are already there. So definitely, if you want initially for your experiments, you can apply any of the feature selection method like con, CFS. Different methods are there. Few ranking methods are also there. You can use chi-square, infogain. Different methods are also there. So using this, you can actually rank your features, select your feature, and then you go for classification. So in this work, we have find that most of the data what we are having, they don't have any correlation with the features. Many times the features are not too much correlated with each other. So that's why we have taken help of a mathematical model of this rough set theory, and we have tried to come with some good outcome. Now this and definitely using the rough set theory, we have tried to identify the collaborations or the coordination between the features I have mentioned here. Now, if the coordination I have tried to identify, then using this, we basically have tried to create a attribute dependency graph. Now, different sort of graphical structure you can have. One another inspiration of attribute selection is you can see that whenever you are trying to take the data of social networking and you are trying to create some of the graph becomes so congested, you can see. So these are quite horrible, and that's why it is really difficult to come out with some of the examples from this. So that's why we are trying to reduce the all the features, and that's why only if we consider the important features, the graph will be the simplified one, and definitely the important information will not be discarded. So that's why this is one of the inspiration for work with these attribute selection methods. And here we can see that we are trying to use five different data sets, and definitely not only this attribute selection what we have tried to do, that is not the only one. We have tried to identify that how this attribute selection is actually working, and definitely from the state of the art technologies it is working better. We have tried out with this example with the better one, and definitely the number of attributes are very less. Next, you see that here we can see that whenever we are trying to do different sort of classification, so later on what we have done, once we have tried to prepare this rough set theory for finding out the collaboration, we have created the graph. Now from the graph, the algorithm which what we have tried to identify, you can see the graph I have mentioned here, that if you are having a graph, then two edges basically it is representing you the collaboration. So we have tried to identify which is the highest degree node we are having. Now, one thing in different work, I have tried to identify this feature selection in different way. Some of the work which is related to the bioinformatics, I have also identified this thing. So whenever you are having a graph is a wonderful representation of the data. You can do various sort of works from there. You can identify the importance of each and every node, which will actually give you the importance of different attributes. So that can be done using only the different metrics like page rank, in degree, out degree, different sort of matrices are there. These are called basically centrality metrics. You can do one work that where you can consider one of the ensemble work or the hybrid factors you can identify for each and every graph, and then definitely you can find out with some different outcome. So this is once you have tried to identify the significance node, then using the only significant features or only significant attributes, you can just try to examine the classification. So once you try to consider using all the attributes, once try to consider we using the only significant attributes, and also to find out the significance of the another methods I have shown you, I have tried to use. I have tried to come out with the outcomes with these also, and we can see the proposed method is giving better outcome. So if you just visit my Google Scholar and or ResearchGate, the paper is available there. Definitely you can go through the paper. Next, you can see this is the ensemble approach. So for the COVID war, so different sort of purposes, the different fake news detection techniques are also there. You can find out different sort of work there. So you can see that and see some of the news related to COVID also are given there, and definitely we can come out with some different outcomes in this case. So here you can see that this model is also very easy. First of all, whenever we are trying to do some of the work, we are trying to find out the data set. Whenever we are getting, we are trying to loading it and refreshing all the noisy data, and after feature selection, we are trying to find out with some model building technique. Now, whenever you are trying to do the feature, before feature selection, you are trying to do the pre-processing. So this pre-processing steps include you a lot of things. That is, you can come out with some bag of word representation of the data. So whenever you are going for bag of word representation, before that, definitely you should apply the text pre-processing, text cleaning, part of speech tagging you can use. Many times you can see that many variables, many data are represented as a verb formation, which are not at all required. You can discard this one. You can do lemmatization, stemming, and stopwatch removal. So after that, definitely you can go for extraction. So as I told you, this is one of the ensemble method. So for this feature extraction and the classification one, we have basically taken here help of the voting method. Now what happened in the after the feature selection point, feature engineering point, how the features are getting extracted and new model will be devised. So for this one, we have tried to take here one of the ensemble techniques, but these ensemble techniques are based on the few different methods like KNN, decision tree, logistic regression, REP tree, neural network, different sort of options are there. You can use for some of the tool like Veka, or also you can use Orange. They will help you out. Not to write, you have to write the code for classification. You can come out with different sort of outcomes as well. Now, when you are coming to the outcome, so we will not consider this time outcome of any one particular method. Instead of this, we will be considering the outcome of different methods, and we are coming out with voting methods, voting technique, different sort of technique you can apply. You can do some, go for some voting technique which is a binary one, simply somebody has given the vote or not. You can go for some weighted voting, where you try to identify what is the how many what is the weight of giving the vote of a particular person. This sort of thing you can definitely find out. Okay, and you can carry out different sort of different processes, and after the voted ensemble method, you can come out with the final outcome. So this is the result table, what you can see here. In the result table, we have tried to identify with different sort of features select extraction technique, that is also shown here. So TF-ID is one of the very good factors to represent your data using some TF-ID score like bag of words. Now, whenever you are representing your data using TF-ID score, that representation can be based on unigram, bigram, trigram, different sort of factors are there. So you can design it according to your need. And so this is the conclusion. I have come to the conclusion of my topic, that this is few of the features I have shown you. So definitely first you try to set up a data set, you go for basic classification and see how these are performing. You can go for some of the ensemble classification or ensemble feature selection as well. I have shown you few of the methods what we have tried to find out using some of the attribute selection methods or feature selection method. Now in case of feature selection, if you want to consider any of the method of your own, or you can create some of the graph based method, which will be another time the ensemble one, the representation of the graph in a graph nodes important factors. You can consider this one. You can make it hybrid as well, and definitely based on these features we have tried to show you few of the factors. Now whenever there are various researches nowadays it is going on, so you can directly go for any of the method, deep learning method, you can apply the CNN and everything. So we are also currently learning on this sort of work, and definitely also not only this, you can follow add sentiment analysis with this. So a little bit of sentiment analysis, how based on a particular fake news, which news is fake, what are the features you are having, and based on this how sentiment is actually reacting, you can really work on this. Now I told you one of the events to share with you, which is currently very trending crime, and where the cyber crime is related with all the social media data. And basically what happens in your profile, definitely we are having some close contact. Now it is a one of the hot story for India. Believe me, in all the cities there are very few sectors are there people are getting into the trap or different sort of cyber extortion. So what is happening when we are coming to the Facebooks? Definitely we have a set of people to whom we try to tag in different sort of events of our own life. If it is some academic event, we try to post to a few of the person, and if it is some of the personal events, we try to tag a different set of person. Now who are making the crime, who are actually the spammers, they are trying to fetch this information that these are the set of users are having and these are the tagged person. Now one person is trying to make some good friendship with you, and then after they, what happened many times, if the person is in our close network, we try to share our phone number, then this phone number is getting shared whenever you are talking to the person. They try to make a video call, and they are trying to give instead of their picture, some of the abusive photos are coming. They are taking snap of it, they are simply posting it to your messenger. They are simply post will this one to the WhatsApp images, and now the cyber extortion is getting started. They are demanding for money, so the money is starting from 500 and it is go up to crores. So based on the person who is in front of that crimers, so they are trying to demanding the money, and unknowingly there are very few person, they are telling that this photo will be, I will share in public and something, this sort of things. And there are very few person in different cities who are making every day at least 2 to 3, at least I'm telling more than this basically. There are few reports are daily coming where lakhs of monies they have to send. They have to send it from Google Pay, they have to send, they are using basically different sort of wallet. Nowadays they have become so smart, so those who are taking the money, they are taking into different wallets, so bank will not be responsible, they are directly selling the wallet into the dark web even. So these sort of things are really happening. So whenever you are trying to make friends, whenever you are trying to involve into some sharing unknowingly without identify the source of any news, don't propagate this one, because this is such a sort of warning. So if we are quite knowledgeable person, we are the person who has properly the concept that what can be done and what not can be. So if we will be trying to share, then definitely we don't have anything to stop all this thing. So we should, before we share all this information to others. So I'm just stopping my share. Now I'm ready to take the question. If you have any question, definitely you can share. You can write in the chat box even.
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am, for giving a brief outline of how the fake news is going to be predicted with AI, because you showed the real example of Obama. Even the facials are the same, but definitely there will be some fake news even with video. So thank you so much for giving the outline of that one. The participants, now it is open for questions. If at all you have questions, you can unmute yourself or you can post it in the chat box. Thank you. They are very much clear about the topic, ma'am. That's why we are not receive any charts in the chat box. So once again, from Shri Vishnu Engineering College for Women, I convey my gratitude to you, ma'am, for despite of your busy schedule, you spared 1 hour for our participants and being part of this faculty development program. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much.